Hello fellow budgeters, my name is Brandy and you're watching From Debt to Dreams, and on this channel we're paying off over $400,000 worth of debt, but don't you fret, way more than half of that is our mortgage. Today we're going over our November closeout and our debt update and like financial goals update. So something that I just want to, I guess, say really quickly is that when it comes to the end of the year, I kind of lose, not vigor, but I tried to stay as close as I can when I'm recording everything, when it comes to not recording like a video, but like recording as in jotting down all the things, like everywhere the money has moved. And I think that I missed a couple of things when I was doing November, but that's all right. So here's what we did. So our starting balance in November was $725.06. The money that we moved over from our income account into our checking account, and then also the money we used for our cash envelopes, was $6,124. That is not all of the money that I have earned in the month of November. Some of that sits in my income account. Our other income was 12 cents, which was like our dividends from our checking account. And then we used $544 of savings, which put us at a total monthly inflow of $7,393.18. So here's our monthly budget and our categories. For household, the way that the pay cycles worked in November, I did not have to make a mortgage payment. The mortgage payment was paid at the end of October's pay cycle. I know, I'm changing things up the way I do it next year because it was confusing to me too. But we only budgeted $140 for household because the pest control people were coming. It was our quarterly expense time for our house to get sprayed for bugs. And we ended up spending $178.72, which means we were over budget by $38. I probably bought some like home decor or something. For groceries, we budgeted $1,200 and we spent $1,038, which meant we were under budget by $161. For cars and gas, we budgeted $525 and ended up spending $617.86, so we were over budget by $92, and that was because we got an oil change. For utilities, we budget $600 and we ended up spending $384, so we were under budget by $215. Takeout, I don't budget anything, but we spent $358. Tithes, I budgeted $173, ended up spending $155, so I was $17 under budget. And the reason why that is because it looks like you budgeted $173. Why didn't you spend or tithe $173, especially since tithe is a giving, right? Well, that's because I over budget everything. And hope that I'm going under budget on the things that I budget for. So this, I think that like I budget $65 a month for like Compassion International and it only ends up being 40 something. And the reason why I budget $65 a month is because we got a letter saying that our monthly dues were going to be increased to $65, and then they never did it. So I don't know why, but I budget at 65 just in case they decide to bump it back up. But our girl just turned 21, and did she just turn 21 or maybe 22? And that she's around the age when they start aging out of the care center and out of the program. And so I think we're going to pause on Compassion International and not do another child quite yet. But we haven't quite decided yet because we don't know exactly when not our contract. We don't know exactly when our girl will be aging out of the system. I mean, we just want to make sure that we sponsor her until she's done. For health, we budgeted $85 and ended up spending $159. So we were $74 over budget. For kids, we budgeted nothing but spent $447. That was like scout fees for camping and stuff. My husband got 40 and spent 40. I don't budget anything for myself. And technically under me, I spent $143, but really I ordered pictures for the family and didn't know where to put that under, because it wasn't like a Christmas gift or anything. It was just like, I was printing school pictures for the family. And then also I wanted to attempt to make a quilt for somebody, and, so I bought the fabric I needed for that, which was in here. I think the only thing out of this $143 that ended up being for me was a book. Other than that, I didn't have any other category to put them in. So I just put them under my category because like I was one that bought them. I don't know. It was just, that's how my brain worked. We didn't have any annual fees come out this month. For pets, I didn't budget spending anything, but we ended up having a couple of vet appointments and we had to spend $423.56. And that was a bummer to spend that money. We had a lot of that. We had some of that in our pet fund, but not all of it. For savings, we were only budgeting to save $1,022, ended up spending or saving $1,059. So we saved $37 more than we thought we would. For debt, I budgeted $1,575 and we ended up putting $1,572 towards our debt. For fun and entertainment, I budgeted $57. We ended up spending $306. And why was that? Let's go back here really quick and find out. Oh, because we bought the Charlotte football club tickets. And then we also went to Columbia and we bought things at Buc-ee's. And so those came out of our fun category. For celebrations, nothing. And now that I'm like looking at all this again and like talking it out, I probably should have put the fabric for the quilt under celebrations, because that is a gift I was going to give to the baby. Spoiler alert, my sewing machine isn't working. I can't figure it out and it is very frustrating. So I have the quilt top started. And now I probably will be researching. There's a woman in town who will finish a quilt for you. So I have to contact her and see how much it is to finish it, because I want this to be finished. I want to give this to this mother and this baby. I'm just really frustrated. And normally I crochet a blanket, but I'm having some issues with my hands right here. And this is the hand I use to crochet. And so my husband and I thought, let's try quilting again, because I've made a quilt in the past. Then your hand won't hurt so much. Well, my hand doesn't hurt, but I'm extremely frustrated because I can't figure out my sewing machine. For school, we budgeted nothing, but $92 was spent because our school had a fundraiser. And then for Christmas, we used $863 of that Christmas money. And I didn't budget Christmas. So that's where a lot of the over budgeting came from. So our total was, and I guess technically, because I'm looking at this, I'm trying to figure out what happened here. For savings used, I really should have put Christmas money into savings used as well, so that our monthly inflow is a little higher. But anyway, our total budget was $5,414. We spent $7,841 for the month. So see what I mean when I'm saying I didn't record things quite as well? Like at the beginning of the month, I'm so good at it. Or at the beginning of the year, I'm so good at it. But then as the year goes on, and like I'm so gung-ho, I'm like, I've got all of these goals I'm gonna accomplish, and then like life happens. So by the end of the year, I kind of start getting a little bummed out because I'm not accomplishing the goals that I set. So we'll see how things end up looking for 2026. Okay, so here's that. Now let's go into our debt like trackers. Okay, here's my debt tracker, debt and savings tracker. So here's a new tracker that I'm starting for Christmas, since I'm doing Christmas not in saving for next year's Christmas, not in cash. I'm saving it in a high yield savings account. I thought, what's a way that we could show that we're making progress on our Christmas fund? So I downloaded this from debtfreecharts.com. And my goal is $1,300, which means that there's 100 Christmas doodles here, and each of them will be $13. So at the end of November, we put $50 into our high yield savings account, divide that by 13, and we can color 3. So I'll be right back as I do that. All right, so there is our 3 doodles. The next one that's on our little list here is our emergency fund. I would like to get $5,025 into our savings account. Right now we're sitting at a little over 1,000. So previously we were at 1,600, and then I forgot what happened, but we needed some of that money. So I can't color up anything more until we're back to until we're back to 1,600. And so we're at 1,000 right now. So I still have about $600 to go, which is a bummer, but that's the way it is. All right, I don't want to keep turning that around, so. Okay, so now we have our regular debts. So my husband's student loan is one large payment, but multiple loans. And so right now, if we get to put any extra money towards this loan, then we put it towards the one with the lowest balance. And if you are a numbers person, you're probably wondering, why am I doing the lowest balance and not the highest balance? Because that's where all the interest comes from and all the other things. I'm doing the lowest balance because I have found that for us, the debt snowball works the best. And so we're going to focus on the little one, and then we're going to move forward to the bigger ones. So in November, we made a payment on this particular loan for $127, which puts our remaining balance at $4,447.76. So last month, our balance was $4,547.83, and we're minusing the $4,447.76, which means that we paid off $100.07, and each heart represents $97.96. So I can color in one heart. There we go. The next ones I don't get to color in anything, which is a bummer, but that's the nature of the game, right? So for the second loan inside the huge conglomerate of my husband's loan is we made a $52 payment, and the balance went up to $9,820.26. I thought I did the math correctly so that at least it would stay even and it wouldn't go up with the interest that accrued, but apparently I did that wrong all over the place. So I'm going to have to look at that again for January or for December, because that payment hasn't happened quite yet. But for the next loan in there, we put $54. So now our balance is $10,355. So we don't get to color in anything. For the fourth loan inside there, we put $54, and it's at $10,355. We don't get to color anything. For this one, we put $83, and the balance did go down a little bit to $15,175.02. So last month we were at $15,206.37. And so now we're at $15,175.02, which means we've paid off $31, and each doodle is $157. So we don't get to color anything there. Let's see. Let me just do something. Okay. So my phone ran out of storage and I didn't realize it. So I'm sorry to my niece, who this is her favorite part because she likes to watch me color. But let me just tell you quickly what happened. For Fed Loan 5, we made an $83 payment and we're at $15,175. We don't get to color in anything. For November, we made an $80 payment onto Fed Loan 6 and we're at $15,216 and we don't get to color in anything. For my own student loan, we made a $180 payment and our remaining balance is $21,676, which meant we got to color in one of the leaves. For our debt consolidation loan, we made a payment of $942.91, which means our budget or our balance is $61,919. We got to color in 10 little points here, and then I did a quick explanation of that is confusing because you see not very many spots here left and I still owe $61,000 on this loan. That's because we have a lot of trackers for this loan because we used this loan to pay off debt. But I needed a way to represent that it wasn't really paying off debt, it was moving it from one bucket to another. Another thing I was really sad about is that our mortgage, I was able to color in one because our mortgage balance is under $275,000. So that was really exciting. And then for the We're Debt Free, this is our total debt free picture. We're unable to color in anything today because the next one is $423,668 and we're at $423,800 and something dollars. So next month we'll get to. Okay, so here's this. I really hope the framing is good. I am such an amateur at this. I don't have the money for expensive equipment. And I feel like every time I get my phone set up and then I look at it, the framing is not what I thought it was. So just another reason why YouTube for me is kind of one of those things where I'm like, do I want to keep going with this? Because I feel like I'm totally unprofessional, but it's helping me stay not accountable, but stay focused, I guess. So anyway, here's our complete total debt plan. I just went over these balances with you. So all together, with the exception of our mortgage, for our mortgage, we paid $1,948. And so our balance is now $274,837. So our total debt balance is $423,805. In November, for some reason, our interest went up. We paid, in October, we paid $1,858 in interest, and this month we paid $1,866 in interest. It's all right here with this student loan. I don't understand why that's happening. I guess I don't understand interest and payments the way I thought that I did, so I've got to look at that and figure out what's going on. But in October, our total debt balance was $424,777. And our total debt balance for November is $423,805. So we have paid off $972 of our principal for November, which is pretty good considering we're just making minimums. And then the last thing I like to go over is our net worth. I had someone make a comment on my last closeout video that was like, asking me why I don't count my 401ks and those kinds of things. And I thought I explained it in that video, but this is just for, lack of a better word, shits and giggles for me. This is just another way for me to see if we are trending in the right direction, which means our savings is going up and our debt is going down. I don't track my 401k because, quite honestly, I'm lazy. And when I don't look at it, it's out of sight, out of mind. We do contribute to 401ks. It comes out of our paychecks. So it's not at all included in our take-home pays. I don't look at it. It's not something that I'm going to be tracking or looking at very frequently. I do look at it about once a year. I did look at it in a couple of weeks ago, actually, just to make sure that we were still right on track and to see if there was anything I could do to raise up my contribution by 0.5% or whatever. But so I am looking at those actively. I also don't count our house equity for a couple of reasons. One, I'm lazy. I don't want to keep looking it up. Two, the housing market, it doesn't make any, like, to me, the house equity doesn't mean anything to me because what am I going to do with it? I don't plan on selling my house, and I'm not taking out any home equity loans. So the home equity to me doesn't really mean anything. And same with the cars. So, take it or leave it. This is the way I do it. The really cool thing about personal finance is that it's personal. And so, this is the way I do it. But basically it's just for shits and giggles. I'm not here to look for the exact numbers for everything. If that's what you are looking for when looking for another creator, for their exact net worth, I don't know anybody who's out there giving you exact numbers. That I'm sure there's probably somebody out there, but it's not in the people that I watch, because I'm just not really interested in that. But here's what we got. So last month our net worth was negative $419,832. So we have, we went over all of our debts, and then for our assets, we had $3,709 in our credit union bank accounts. I had $381 in my cash envelopes. Our cash sinking funds, we had $1,444. And then in my high yield savings account, we had $50 for Christmas, and then we put $100 in there for our family fun trip we're saving up for March. So in total in my high yield savings account, I have $150, which means our total assets were $5,684.75. And so that meant our total net worth is now negative $418,120, which means we increased our net worth for this stuff at $1,711.78. So, that's a lot of numbers. I tried to not go over them too quickly, but also I am under time constraints because my free video editing service only gives me 30 minutes. And, but yeah, so anyway, this is my budget for me and my family. This is how we are doing things. We're not perfect. Numbers always look really good on paper. The math, sometimes, when you're looking at math, versus lifestyle and budget, then numbers could look differently. But maybe I'll do a video that kind of explains like our whole, no, I don't even need to. I don't need to. So I was going to say I'll do a video like talking about what we've done in the past to kind of help with this debt and all the work that we have put down, because even though our debt is large and it looks really large because I put our mortgage numbers in there, we've actually paid off a ton over our marriage, over the course of our marriage. And then, life happens, emergencies happen, babies happen, children happen. And so these are just my numbers. This is the way I'm doing things. This is the way it's working for our family. And I hope that you decide to join along and watch what we're doing. All right, my friends, I hope you have a lovely day, and I'll see you tomorrow in a Play and Pay video. Bye.